And we are live. We are live. What's going on, lads? How you guys doing? How you guys doing? Wait for a few people to get in, and we'll talk some boxing. We'll talk some boxing, man. Let me just open all these tabs up. Well, no, close these tabs. I've got 1,000,001 things open in the background. Jesus Christ. I hate this new YouTube creator studio thing. Yo, Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News in the chat. Shout out. Jay's Boxing Universe. What's going on, man? What's going on? Yeah, Unrivaled. Just a solo one tonight. I've not really got that much time, in all honesty. Probably go off about 11:30. Just really wanted to fire up a quick one. That's what she said. And talk some boxing. Talk whatever, you know. If you guys have any random questions, non-boxing related, listen, man, I'm all good. I'll answer whatever within reason. Within reason. Yo, Seymour. Yo, shout out to Seymour, man. Long time no see. Omnisurge Media in the house. What's going on? Omnisurge? How you doing? Thoughts on Fury's title going missing? Oh dear, that's a good video. I liked the intro as well, by the way, Unrivaled. I liked the intro on that video. That's good shit. I liked it. Okie dokie. Let me what on earth is going on here? Jesus Christ. Sorry, lads. I'm just fiddling about in the background. Again, that's what she said. Let's have a look. Okay, doke. There we go. I think we've got it. I was just sorting something out in the background. Sorry, lads. Yeah, Omnisurge, I'm doing good. Bit tired, but yeah, I'm okay. Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. Do you want an intro? I'm not sure, mate, in all honesty. I did test an intro a long time ago. I'm not sure whether it's for me. Yeah, maybe. I'm open to anything, in all honesty. I'm open to anything. Yeah, C188, I agree. Hughie Fury, never again. Certainly not at world level. The guy doesn't belong there. If you could match him with domestic guys like David Price, then, you know, fair enough. I'll take that. But at world level, this guy's always going to be in boring fights, in my opinion. He's just too negative, and he doesn't have the right attitude and mindset for world level boxing in the heavyweight division, as far as I'm concerned. You know, that's just how I see it. Yo, the Quags in the house. What's going on, man? How you doing? Shout out to the Quags. Joe Andrus, did you see Hatman's video in regards to Yard keeping Tunde? For me, Tunde gave Yard no tactical advice. Yeah. I've seen the video. Hang on, for fuck's sake. Something in the background's open. There we go. Yeah, I did see the video. I agreed and disagreed. My whole thing is I believe Anthony Yard would be best suited, maybe trying somebody else, finding a new trainer. I just believe... I've made a video about it, actually. If you can look on my channel. I made a video basically highlighting the reasons why I feel Yard should move trainer or change trainer, sorry. Ultimately, I just don't think that style is right for Anthony Yard. You know, I mean, it's an extremely hard style to master, the shoulder roll. And, you know, Anthony Yard is a guy who started boxing at 19 with very little amateur background, And Tunde's trying to get this guy to fight in one of the most difficult styles to fight in. Like I say, my analogy is it's like teaching somebody to drive in a Maserati. It's going to go wrong. Why would you teach a novice to fight in a shoulder roll? For a late starter, if I'm a boxing coach, I'm going to utilize his best attributes, and Yard's best attributes are physical. He's big, he's strong, he hits hard, he's fairly quick. I would work based around that. He's got thick sort of forearms. He can be nice and compact. I would have Yard fight out of a high guard, similar to Arthur Abraham, and then sort of apply pressure, pick your spots, and fight in that type of style. You know, that's how I would have Anthony Yard fight personally, not out of that shoulder roll, because he gets hit too much. He gets hit way too much in that shoulder roll. Can't block a right hand in the shoulder roll. Gets jabbed to death. But yeah, that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Yeah, Seymour, people have been harsh on Hughie Fury. I've been harsh on Hughie, in all honesty. But yeah, I just don't think he's good enough for world level, unfortunately. And I don't think he'll get to that level, if I'm being honest. I just can't see it. I really can't see it. For Quags, he's had enough. No more Hughie at all. He's a stinker. Don't want to see him do anything. Yeah, a lot of people feel the same way. A lot of people feel the same way. Eric Molina versus F.A. Ajagba on the PBC next. That's an okay fight for Ajagba at this stage. What's Ajagba like? 9-0? Something like that. That's acceptable for a prospect, in my opinion. I think that's acceptable. But yeah, that's a solid step up for Ajagba. Well, is it a step up from Demirezen? Maybe, maybe not. I think Demirezen might actually beat Eric Molina now, but it's an okay fight for Ajagba. It's okay. I think it's solid. Do modern fighters have part-time careers? All the legends of old had 50-plus fights, some 70. I don't know, man. I just think it's for time. You know, guys fight once a year, twice a year at max. And as a result, they're having less fights, you know? I just don't think the guys fight as much these days, unfortunately. There's not many active world champions, really. Emmanuel Navarrete, he's quite active. You know, some of the smaller guys are quite active, but for the most part, these guys don't fight enough. Kevin Farmer's active, but he's fighting nobody. But yeah, man, it's one of those things. Yeah, the Quags, I totally agree. Yard isn't even using it correctly, the shoulder roll. You need to establish range and timing first. Yard came out trying to use it. Yeah, exactly. I agree. I agree. Yo, Lewis Hurley in the chat. Shout out to Lewis Hurley, one of the regulars. Big up, Lewis, man. Big up. Yo, smash the like, people. If you could, that would be much appreciated. It would be much appreciated. But yeah, Lewis, great night of boxing last night. I enjoyed it. I loved the main event between Lomachenko and Campbell. Much better fight than I was anticipating. I can't lie. I felt Campbell did himself proud, but ultimately Lomachenko was just too good. I enjoyed the I guess I enjoyed the drama of Edwards Martinez. You know, that was weird. That was a weird fight. Hughie Povetkin was what it was. It was a solid card. James Tennyson, he knocked out Atif Shafiq brutally. That was a brutal knockout. And obviously you had Boatsi do his thing as well. Yo, Dominic, shout out to Dominic Chechery in the chat. Another one of the regulars. Prograis versus Taylor. The whole card is really good. I totally agree, Dominic. That card is absolutely wonderful. Beautiful card from top to bottom. Awesome main event. Great co-main in Chisora versus Parker. You've got a really good step up for Lawrence Okoli against Yves Ngannou, and even Lee Selby versus Ricky Burns. It's a good crossroads fight. I think that's a brilliant card, and I can't think of any better UK pay-per-views than that card. If I'm being honest, I think that's a wonderful card. Listen, man, you guys know me. I'm a Scrooge when it comes to pay-per-views. I'm buying that. They have my money. They really do. That's a brilliant card. It's an awesome card. Levi Khan, Povetkin looked old and tired versus Hughie Fury. He'll be knocked out if he steps back up. I felt he looked jaded, I'll be honest. He looked jaded. I still think he's good enough to trouble guys, even at the higher level. You know, guys like Pulev, Ortiz, guys like that, I think he could beat. But the top five, the fresher guys, I doubt it. I doubt it. Seymour Cox, what about Hughie versus Dubois? Dubois right now, who wins? Dubois definitely wins due to the activity, due to the aggression. He'll force the fight, so Dubois wins. It's just whether he can knock Hughie out. That's the only question. Omnisurge Media, that's a good point, actually. Yard reminds me of Broner, tries to fight like Mayweather, but he truly has a style more of a brawler. Yeah, I agree. Like, Broner to me is better when he's walking guys down up close, working the body, working on the inside. That's when I think Broner's at his best. Look at the Alec Berdiev fight. Broner looked great that night on the inside. You know, he was using his physical strength to walk guys down, beat him up on the inside. That's when Broner looked good. Look at the DeMarco fight as well. But when he goes behind that shoulder roll, he's terrible. When he tries to box guys, he's awful. But yeah, a lot of these guys have an infatuation with Floyd, you know, and they can't pull it off. Yo, John99 in the chat. Shout out to John. Yo, Hashman. What's going on, Hashman? Yeah, Hashman. I felt Buatsi was workmanlike, I would say. He got the job done. He got the stoppage against a tough guy. But defensive flaws are there, and there's things he needs to work on. You know, and I'm sure he's aware of that. But, you know, we have to put it in context of him being in the light heavyweight division. He has an extremely high standard to get to. It's not like there's a couple of weak world champions who are easily beatable. He's in a really tough division. So, you know, these errors, they will need to be kind of ironed out before he steps up. I mentioned in my post-fight video, I think Buatsi could come unstuck if he fights a guy who punches with him and who punches hard. Someone like Beterbiev, for example. I think if you punch with Buatsi, you can have success. And also the straight punches against Buatsi could be a problem. But we'll see. We'll see. Just a few things I've noticed in Buatsi's game defensively that he needs to work on. Yo, Tezzy, shout out to Tezzy, man. How you doing? Oh, I think Edwards is moving up, Tezzy. We discussed this on Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News's live stream. I think Edwards is moving up, to be honest with you. I don't think he wants that work with Martinez. Only issue is, you know, at 115, there's killers in that weight class as well. He's not winning a world title at 115. Exactly, Hashman, I agree. Edwards is food for champions at 115. 100% agree. Lewis Hurley, what's your thoughts on Gervonta Davis at lightweight? I think that's a good start. I think it's a good sign. Obviously, Tank's not going to fight Lomachenko next. I've heard he's going to fight Yuriorkis Gamboa. That's what I've been hearing. But it's a good start. It makes that Tank fight a little bit more realistic. Now both guys are in the same division. Obviously, Tank is apparently mandatory with the WBA, so it could happen. I'm being optimistic. I hope it's a step in the right direction, but we will see. I would love to see that fight. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a good fight. Yeah, C188. Fair play to Eddie Hearn for the 26th of October and the World Boxing Super Series. You know, they've come together and they've put on a really, really good card. Hashman Boxing, I still think Edwards beats Yafai. I thought that before the Martinez fight, but I felt Edwards looked terrible, in all honesty. That was partly due to, obviously, Martinez looking good, but I felt he got his tactics wrong. You know, he never gave Martinez anything to think about. We'll see. It's a good fight, though. It's a good fight. Yo, Seymour, yeah, your boy's fighting Robbie Davis. Lewis Ritson versus Robbie Davis. That's a really good fight. That's a damn good fight. Good domestic scrap. Good domestic scrap. I've got Lewis Ritson to win that fight. In all honesty, I don't really rate Robbie Davis Jr. Unrivaled boxing talk and news. Will Wilder Fury be for the ring in the rematch? Both are ranked 1 and 2. Maybe. Yeah, that's a good point, you know. Yeah, maybe. You'd imagine so, if they're both ranked that when the fight happens. Diobi Inui, Dubois versus Povetkin. Damn, that's a sick fight. I'd love to see it. But from Dubois' point of view, if I was managing him, I would steer clear of that for now. I think Povetkin's past it, but he's still got something left. And I wouldn't put Dubois in with him, in all honesty. Yo, big up Tommy Temper. How you doing, man? Big up, Tommy. Yeah, the Quags. Povetkin didn't look that great, but what does that say about Huey? Yeah, I don't want him being mentioned anymore. His style is awful. Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I mentioned this. I think it was on McGregor's stream. As bad as Povetkin looked, he still beat Huey clearer than Joseph Parker did, in my opinion, at least. Yeah, we got Michael Jackson in the chat. Shout out to Michael Jackson. I thought you was dead. Nah, shout out to Michael Jackson. Yeah, D, I agree. Buatsi needs to move his head a bit more. Like, I'm not sure whether he was here, but I think he'll struggle if he fights somebody who punches with him. I think he's vulnerable in those moments. And yeah, straight punches as well. Also, in terms of his offense, I like Buatsi's offense in terms of his combinations, in terms of his variety, his punch placement. All of that is good. But I would like to see him feint a bit more. You know, set things up and not be so predictable. He's very methodical, and sometimes that's very effective. But if somebody's recognizing the patterns of Buatsi, then you know he could be a bit predictable, and he could get outboxed. So I would like to see Buatsi feint a bit more. You know, change levels with the jab. You know, just change things up a bit. Be a bit more a bit more dynamic with his offense, I guess. But again, I'm nitpicking. I think Buatsi's a really good prospect. Just a few things to tidy up on. Yeah, Hashman. Yeah, exactly. Charlie Edwards looked like an alien at the weigh-in. Yeah, he did. He looked terrible. He looked like an extra from Trainspotting. He looked awful. He looked awful. Seymour Cox. Dubois is going to win the Commonwealth and then defend the British before the end of the year. That'd be good, man. He's nice and active if that's the case. If he could beat this what's the guy's name he's fighting? Ebenezer Tete. If he can beat Tete and then defend the British in December or something like that, yeah, that's a good year. That's a good year. Yo, Hashman, that's a sick fight. Inoue versus Navarrete. Yeah, that'd be a sick fight if that happens. That is a banger. Navarrete's big. He can't be underestimated. As good as Inoue is, I think Navarrete is coming on really well. I think he's a problem. Yeah, Hashman. Martinez is explosive. He's powerful, man. He digs to that body. He's awkward as well coming forwards. He's hard to time. He's got like a really weird rhythm. And yeah, he's just awkward, leading with hooks, tripling up on like the left hook, like in a row. Like it's crazy. He's got a weird style, man, but it works. Yeah, what's up, John? How you doing, man? What's up, John? I just saw a comment as well. Porky signed Cash Ali for Dennis Hobson. Jesus Christ. I want to see Cash Ali versus Dave Allen. That'd be a fun fight. Yo, we've uncovered one of the greatest conspiracies of all time. Michael Jackson is now alive. He says, "I'm alive." They've got me stuck in supervision. I watch boxing now. What have we done to the world? What have we done? Exactly, Michael. Couldn't say it better. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, Hashman, that's a good shout. Joshua Buatsi versus Blake Caparello. Yeah, good shout. Caparello, Barrera, Kara Murat. You know, all of these guys are good names for Buatsi. John, Stephen Hawkins would have done better than Charlie Edwards. Jesus. It's true, man. Charlie got smashed. He got smashed. Well, he got smashed. Then he got smashed on the floor. So, yeah, John 99. I'm still completely undecided on Prograis versus Taylor. But do you know sometimes when you get a gut instinct in regards to certain fights, my gut tells me Prograis wins that fight for some reason. Something tells me Prograis wins it, but that's based on nothing. I need to go back and watch both guys, and then I'll make an official prediction. But man, that's a damn good fight. That's a damn good fight. That's one of those fights where I don't care what's on, I'm not missing it. Whether it be a hot date, a night out with the lads, I'm not missing that. I'm not missing that fight. Trust me. If it's a hot date, she can go and flick her bean, mate, on her own. I'm not missing that fight. No way. That's a sick fight. Damn, that's a good fight. Yeah, unrivaled. Navarrete is very tough. Durable as hell, man. He took what's dude's name? What's the guy's name? He took Dogbei's shots with ease. Dogbei can punch, man. He can punch. Like Dogbei knocked out Cesar Juarez, and Donaire couldn't really put a dent in Juarez. So, man, Dogbei could punch, and Navarrete took those shots well. OmniSurge Media, that's a great fight. Ubali versus Tete. Boxer versus the pressure fighter. Just a great stylistic match. I'm all up for that. That's got me written all over it. That's got me written all over it, man. Yeah, I think I think I'm lost in the chat. You know. Yeah, D. Karen Murat, he's still active. Well, he fought fairly recently, anyway. He fought fairly recently. Yo, Don Hearn in the chat. Shout out to Don Hearn. Yeah, John, man, that PBC card wasn't great. It wasn't great at all. I watched the Lara fight this morning. Lara looked okay. He got the job done against a limited opponent. He got the finish. Not more you can really say. Not more you can really say. I'd like to see Lara rematch Castano next, in all honesty. Yeah, where was I? Where was I? The Quags is taking Taylor. He's got more tools than Prograis. Taylor by split decision. I think both guys are fairly versatile in their skill sets. I've seen both guys utilize different styles, but I think Prograis is versatile as well, though. I think he can. We've seen him box on the back foot. We've seen him play counter puncher. We've seen him apply pressure, walk people down, brawl, trade. He can punch. He can defend himself. I think Prograis is a special talent. Something about him, something about that guy to me is just like he's got that X factor, and I can't put my finger on it, but the guy just looks special to me. I think he's a very good fighter. And to this day, honestly, it beats me why this guy doesn't get any hype in America. It's strange to me. It really is. Maybe he will if he beats Josh Taylor. We'll see. But it's a damn good fight. Can't get over how good that fight is. Yo, OmniSurge Media, you're right, man. Vodzik versus Beterbiev is 1 week before Prograis Taylor. Yeah, October's looking good. October's looking damn good. Yo, what's up, Sin Amasia? How you doing? Lara won against the Canelita brothers. Yeah, he smashed fucking Razor Ramon, whatever his fucking name was. And I felt he just about edged Canelo. That fight could have gone either way, though, in all honesty. But, yeah, Lara did his thing. When Lara opens up, I know people say he's boring, but when Lara actually opens up, he's quite good to watch. I like it when he opens up. He's got a lovely left hand. Really accurate at times. Lara's one of those fighters, I must confess. A lot of people say he's boring. Yes, he has had some stinkers, but I don't think he's as bad to watch as some people make out. Erislandy Lara. I think the guy can be quite good to watch. I've always kind of liked Lara. You know, I know I'm in the minority there. Yeah, what's up, Sin? How you doing, man? Yeah, oh shit, yeah, Hash, man. I'm excited about the Golovkin fight. I'm excited. I like the fight. I think it's a good style matchup, especially against this Golovkin who's like 36 years old, who's slowing down. Derevinchenko's really good in the pocket. That's going to be a firefight as long as it lasts, but I think Golovkin takes him out. Okay, let's look at Unrivalled's comment. September 28th, Spence versus Porter. October 5th, Golovkin Derevinchenko. October 12th, Usyk heavyweight debut. October 19th, Beterbiev Vodzik. October 26th, Taylor Prograis card. November 7th, Danette Inoue. Yeah, that is a fucking brilliant last 6 weeks. I'll tell you what, given how strong the back end of 2019 is, it's been a good year. It's been a good year. It's been a really good year. Tezzy, who wins, Charlie Edwards or Claressa Shields when she's on her period? Bruv, I think Charlie Edwards is man. No, hang on. Claressa Shields doesn't get periods. Trust me. The steroids have fucking long since got rid of those. Trust me. Man. You know what? Fucking Claressa Shields probably beat Charlie Edwards based on that performance. Jesus. Loma needs to move to 140 for a challenge to show his greatness. I'm perfectly content with him staying at 135. I think Comey Teofimo winner's a good fight. I believe Comey might beat Teofimo, and I think he's a good fight for Loma. Gervonta Davis has moved up to lightweight apparently. If they could get that fight on, it's a good fight. You know, but we'll see what happens with Tank Davis. You can't really count on him fighting anybody right now, so we'll see. Yo, Hashman, I like that card. That September the 13th card is a damn good card. That's a really good card. And yeah, a good test for Devin Haney. Zawa Abdullayev. Good test. I love that Kuzmin fight as well. Kuzmin versus Michael Hunter. I think that's a really good fight. I'm taking Michael Hunter in all honesty, but Kuzmin can punch. He is aggressive, very good amateur. You never know. It's certainly a decent fight. Yeah, the Danny Roman fight against Akhmadaliev on Rivaled Boxing Talk and News. That's a sick fight. Akhmadaliev could be one of those guys, man. Honestly, the kid's a monster. Digs to the body like nobody's business. Very good amateur. Yeah, Hashman. I think I like Danny Roman as well. I think Danny Roman is a fine fighter. I think he's really good. But Akhmadaliev looks special. He looks damn good. He looks like a problem, honestly. John 99. Comey versus Lopez. Who do you think wins? I'm going with Comey right now. I'm leaning towards Comey. I didn't like how Teofimo reacted to his last fight. I felt the fight was close. I felt it could have gone either way. And Teofimo showed a lot of deficiencies in that fight, that is a worry in itself. But I didn't like how he reacted to that fight. After that fight, it was a bad performance, and Teofimo threw his toys out of a pram, cryptic tweets about retirement, all that nonsense, just because of a bad performance. What happens when Comey starts putting it on him, and it's really tough? He's got a bust nose. His lips are bleeding. What's going to happen then? If he can't take a bit of criticism outside the ring, we'll see. We'll see. I think Teofimo might have bitten off more than he can chew, in all honesty. I think he needs a couple more fights, 2-3 more fights before fighting Comey, ideally. But he's made his bed. Time to lie in it now. Because if he backs out now, it's not a good look, ultimately. But we'll see. Maybe Teofimo can find that next level and he could knock Richard Comey out. If he does that, I will be mightily impressed. I really will. I would be very impressed. Yeah, humble pie, I agree with that. Loma's a great fighter, but Pacquiao's an all-time fighter. I agree. Hashman Boxing, he wants to get Josh Kelly killed. Jesus Christ, mate. I would say Virgil Ortiz gets Kelly out of there in rounds 6 or 7. Lewis, I don't think Mikey would beat Lomachenko at lightweight. I think Lomachenko would outpoint him. Obviously, Mikey's got a puncher's chance, but I would pick Lomachenko to outpoint him. Yeah, shout out to Noah Jolly in the chat. And yeah, by the way, lads, check out Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. He's got a channel, been conversing with Unrivaled for quite some time. One of the better guys on this website, so check his channel out, Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. If you're not subbed, give him a sub. No, I think Hassman. I think Mikey's got a puncher's chance against Lomachenko. I don't think he'd beat Lomachenko. I think Lomachenko would be too active for him, in all honesty. C188, Lomachenko beats everybody at 135 and below, including Gary Stank Davis Coleman. Jesus. I do like, thing is with Tank Davis, it's the level of opposition that pisses me off. I actually like watching him as a fighter. I like his style. I like the fact that he goes to take somebody's head off each and every time. I like everything about Tank Davis. apart from the dudes he's fighting. So hopefully now he's moved to lightweight. Hopefully he's going for that Lomachenko fight so we can see how good he really is. But again, when I'm critical of Tank Davis, I'm not critical of every fighter because some fighters, it's going to sound harsh, but some fighters aren't even worth being critical of. But I'm critical of Tank Davis because I think he's a very good talent and he's being wasted right now. That's why I'm critical of Tank Davis. Jesus, Hashman Boxing, Jesus Christ, he's out here trying to get people killed. Gervonta Davis versus Atif Shafiq, man. Yeah, Atif Shafiq got knocked out. Man, he got starched by Tennyson. He got starched. Man, he was laying on his legs like George Groves, Atif Shafiq. That's a nasty knockout. He was doing his Bermain Stavern impression. Jesus Christ. That's a hell of a finish, from Tennyson. Hell of a finish. Those left hooks, man, took him out. Man, I love those sort of knockouts, though. Those sort of visceral knockouts. You can just watch them again and again. One of the best sights in boxing, as savage as that is. Yeah, exactly, Noah Jolly. Pacquiao at 40 years old is still fighting better guys than most fighters out there, which is mad. Yeah, it puts it into perspective. Sorry, how great Manny Pacquiao is and how these guys are slipping right now. A lot of these guys are not doing enough. I'm sorry, they're not doing enough. Look at Tank Davis and Tank Davis and Tevin Farmer, for example. These guys should just fight. Neither guy are huge pay-per-view stars. They should fight. They should unify, and these are the fights they need to build their resumes, to build their profile. But even they're asking the world for these type of fights. I mean, like I've mentioned this before, but Tank Davis and Tevin Farmer, they've got one good win between them. If you combine both resumes, there's one good win, and that's Jose Pedraza. That's it. And these guys are acting like they're megastars who are entitled to pay-per-view money. It's absolutely embarrassing. It really is. Fucking embarrassing. I just want to see these fights. And oh man, it winds me up, honestly. Yeah, Hashman. I was surprised when Shafiq beat Appleyard, to be honest with you. I thought Appleyard was going to knock Shafiq out because I saw Shafiq get knocked out against some German dude, like 5-0 guy. He got knocked out bad. And I assumed Appleyard would do the same thing, but Shafiq won that fight. Yeah, shout out to Seamus, man. Seamus Carey in the chat. Shout out. Yeah, Hashman. Tennyson's got a glass body. Farmer finished into the body. And didn't Martin J. Ward put him down to the body as well? Off the top of my head. I'm sure he did. That was a good fight, James Tennyson versus Martin J. Ward a few months back. That was a really good fight. Yeah, I'm good, Seamus, man. I'm good. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Seamus. These guys, they've done nothing and they're asking for pay-per-view money. They're acting like they're stars. They're not putting in the work to get to that. They're not putting in the work. They just expect it. They're entitled. These guys should build a resume first, then they ask for that type of money. But that's the generation we live in general, unfortunately. Yeah, Noah, Cordina versus Tennyson, that's a good fight. I'd watch that. I think Tennyson is supposed to fight Craig Evans in an eliminator. Sorry, Hashman thinks Cordina stops him. I think he does as well. Hashman. I think he goes down to the body, gets him out of there mid rounds. I agree. Unrivaled boxing talk and news. Del, do you reckon if I interview Hearn, he'll chin me? He might do, but it would get crazy hits. Those viewing figures, mate. Those viewing figures. Yeah, Tennyson's a good watch, Noah. He's a good watch, James Tennyson. He comes to fight. He's a glass cannon. He's got real power, like genuine power. But like Cashman said, he's glass to the body and his chin isn't the best either. So he's always guaranteed entertainment, James Tennyson. I like James Tennyson. I would have liked to have seen James Tennyson versus John O'Carroll. That would have been a good fight. I don't like John O'Carroll though, so I would take James Tennyson in. I'd take Tennyson in that fight. Oh yeah, Noah. Yeah, Carroll's got a good chin. I'll give him that. He's got a good chin. Hashman, he asks, how did he physically bully Shafiq so easily? I think the weight cut, the lack of he was obviously killing himself to make super featherweight. I think lightweight, he's got a bit more strength. He's a bit more fresh. Maybe that was one of the reasons. And he still looked big at lightweight. He still looked big at lightweight. Who's got more power, Campbell or Tank? Are you asking me or someone in the chat? But anyway, who's got more power, Campbell or Tank? I would say Tank Davis. I know Tank Davis, his power's not that proven yet, but from the eye test, just looking at I would say Tank personally. I know, like I say, I know Tank hasn't really knocked anybody out yet, but neither's Campbell. I would say Tank. And one thing's for sure, Tank Davis is certainly a better finisher. He's a much better finisher than Luke Campbell. Unrivaled boxing talk and news. I'd like to see David Avanesian versus Ray Robinson's baked beans. Apparently, they're making Ray Robinson versus Josh Kelly too. But we'll see what happens there. Sheamus is taking Lomachenko over Tank. I agree. I think Tank would actually... I don't think he'll get knocked out per se against Lomachenko. I wouldn't be surprised if he, quits on his stool or something like that. I don't think he'll get knocked out for some reason. Humble Pie, how would a Lomachenko Tank fight play out? I think it would be fairly... I think it would be similar to the Gary Russell fight. In all honesty, I think Tank would have some moments here and there with that flashy speed. He might catch Lomachenko a couple of times, but ultimately Lomachenko is going to box rings around him. The problem for Tank Davis in that fight is the feet. Look at Tank Davis's feet. Stuck in the mud. He drags that back leg. He's going to have a nightmare to time Lomachenko. He's going to have a nightmare to actually set his feet and connect. It's all well and good fighting a guy who stands in front of you, and yeah, you can tee off on him, you can land some great combinations, that's all well and good. But when a guy's stepping around you, when a guy's giving you angles, when a guy's feinting, what's going to happen then? We'll see. I don't like Tank's footwork, and I think that's why he loses that fight. That's one of the main reasons he loses that fight, his feet. Yeah, C188, I agree. Josh Kelly can get into the bin too, along with Huey. Yeah, I don't like Josh Kelly's style. He needs to drop that hands down shit, honestly. He's not good enough for that style. He can evade shots. He can be quite elusive in that style, but I don't think he's got the power for it. If Josh Kelly had power, he'd be a good fighter, but he doesn't. He doesn't. I've not seen it, John 99. I've not seen that video of Andre Ward and Tim Bradley giving advice to young fighters. I've not seen it, man. Man, Hashman thinks Conor Benn beats Josh Kelly. Now, I don't rate Josh Kelly. I think you guys know that, but I'm not really sold on Conor Benn. Like Conor Benn, I think he would get knocked out by Ray Robinson, in all honesty. Whereas, whatever you thought of the result, Kelly was competitive with Ray Robinson. I think Ray Robinson knocks Kelly out. Sorry, I think Ray Robinson knocks Conor Benn out. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. Yeah, D. Shafiq fell on his own leg. Or he fell on his own legs. He fell on both legs. He done the Stavern. Yeah, that's a crazy knockout, man. Bossman thinks Tank would start Loma. I mean, it only takes one. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened. I just worry about Tank's feet in that fight. That's why I think he loses. He's got that Broner footwork, man. That dragging that back leg. I don't like it. I don't like it. He's not great at punching on the move, Tank Davis. He's really not. Go and watch his fights. And I think to beat a Lomachenko, you've got to be able to, especially if you're like a smaller guy who applies pressure, you've got to be able to punch on the move. And Tank Davis can't do that. He can't really do that. Noah Jolly, I want to see Frank Warren's dented forehead versus Eddie Hearn's fringe. Yeah, D, that's my kind of reason. I mean, I wouldn't call Tank Davis a hype job. I do genuinely believe the guy's got a lot of talent, but my worry is, since that Pedraza fight, which was a good win, he's not really developed. He's not fought anybody. He's not built on it. So, for all we know, the guy's at the same level. Has the guy improved? I mean, it's hard to say. There's a reason this guy's being like managed the way he's been managed. Surely. Yeah, Lewis, that's a good shout. Ty and Booth has to talk about Froch going on holiday when Ward came to town. Yeah. Oh, dear. Yeah, I lost where I was, Yeah, D, I don't think Conor Benn is I don't think he's getting above British level, if I'm being honest. I think he's improved since he's turned pro, but still got a long way to go. And, I don't rate Josh Kelly, but I would pick Josh Kelly to beat Conor Benn. I think Josh Kelly's Josh Kelly's a bit too good for him. Like I said, would anybody here pick Conor Benn to beat Ray Robinson? I wouldn't, man. I wouldn't. Okay, Unrivaled and Hashman are talking about Herring and Birchelt, Who Duck 2. I mean, I've heard a few things. I've not really read into it, so I can't really comment. But again, it's a fight that should happen regardless. You know, it should happen. And by the way, I heard that Birchelt is going to fight Jason Sosa next. I think that's an okay fight. That's a fun fight. Sosa's a good contender. He can punch a bit. I like it. But I want to see Birchelt unify, man. The guy's had that belt for a little while now. I want to see him unify. Yeah, Hashman, you're right. Josh Kelly, he got gassed in that fight with Ray Robinson. Stylistically, you know, that style of fighting doesn't really help. Man, Josh Kelly's getting beat real soon, trust me. He's getting beat real soon. What will happen is they'll get Ray Robinson in the UK. Kelly will win a points verdict, whether he wins it or not. He'll win on points, and then they'll make that Conor Benn fight because they need to get cash out of one of these guys. They need to put a big fight on between these guys, make a bit of money, and then they'll go from there. Yeah, that's a good fight. Omnisurge Media, Jamel Herring versus Lamont Roach Jr. That's a decent fight. Lamont Roach is a good kid as well. I've seen a bit of him as he's a good dude. He's a good dude. And yeah, Jamel Herring as well, though. He's a former vet. That's a good fight. I might take Lamont Roach in that one, though. Yo, no worries, Unrivaled. I'm going to wrap this one up in about 10 anyway, about 10 minutes or so. Yo, Oasis One, what's up, man? I agree. I totally agree. Politics in boxing stops fights being made. I'm not a UFC fan, but the best fight for best. Yeah, exactly. In the UFC, the best fight for best more often. They do. And listen, part of boxing's problem, in my opinion, obviously multiple promoters don't help, but I've said it before, I'll say it again. Overpaying fighters for easy fights. You know, let's take Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell Jr. Leo Santa Cruz is getting paid $1 million+ to fight bums. Each fight he's getting paid big money to fight bums. If you're Leo Santa Cruz and you're getting paid $1 million to fight a bum, why are you going to fight Gary Russell for 2.5? It's a fight you could lose. It's a tough fight physically, even if you win. And yeah, it's a risky fight. You'd stack up your money and fight bums after bums after bums. That's one of the reasons these fights don't happen. That's one of the reasons guys like Leo Santa Cruz are not willing to fight these guys. Because they're getting overpaid fighting cream puffs. And that's one thing, you know, boxing fans will always say, oh, UFC don't pay their fighters well. Well, first and foremost, if it's a pay-per-view show and the pay-per-view does well, the UFC fighter will get a back-end bonus on that pay-per-view. Ultimately, the way I see it, the UFC pay fighters what they're actually worth. There's a big difference. That's why these fights are getting made. You know? Guys like Khabib, they're earning big money because they're earning big money on back end of pay-per-view. The disclosed purse might not they might not look like much, but these guys are getting paid. They're getting paid. But that's just my opinion. I think a lot of these dudes just get overpaid and they're not willing to take a challenge without being crazily compensated. That's my 2 cents. Yeah, but Daniel Cormier, I'm sure he would have got paid on the back end of that fight in terms of like if the pay-per-view did well. But regardless, I mean, even if we're sitting here saying, "Oh, UFC fighters do get underpaid," regardless, MMA fans are getting the fights they want. Is it for us to worry about what fighters get paid? Really? I mean, listen, 750 grand is a lot of money still. Yeah, but Hashman, it doesn't sound like much. But if you're running a business, why are you going to guarantee a guy more money than the show might generate? You know, I think that's the way it should be. In all honesty, but that's just my opinion. And ultimately, like I said, all that really matters is the UFC fans are getting fights they want on a more regular basis than boxing fans. Yeah, the next couple of months are good for boxing fans, but we have large periods of time in boxing where we get shit fight after shit fight. But there we go. Okay, all boxing talking news. I'll give that one a. I'll check that out. Yeah, Seamus, that's true. 25K per fight, unless you're a top dog, and 50K bonuses of a good fight. Yeah, but having said that, you know, I've heard of British champions earning less than 10K in fights. You know, it's one of those things, isn't it? It's one of those things. Ultimately, I'm a believer in you're paid what you're worth. Is Leo Santa Cruz worth $1 million to fight a bum? Absolutely not. These shows don't make money. When Leo Santa Cruz is fighting in a 4,000 seat arena when he's getting paid $1 million to fight a scrub, but that's not making money. That show's not making money. He's not worth that money. 100% overhand. Exactly. That's how I see it. Bruv, bring Dana White in boxing. Get this fucker in boxing. Yeah, Hash, man. I totally agree, man. I think Leo Santa Cruz is a very good fighter. I do. And I like watching him fight. Don't get it twisted, but the guy's not fighting anyone. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to root for these guys. It's hard to root for these guys. Man, Hash, man. If Dana White comes in boxing and he makes good fights, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. And I don't think Dana's stupid enough to go into boxing with that same sort of pay structure as in the UFC. You know, he's going to have to entice these fighters, I guess, somehow. But it's hard. I think it's going to be hard for Dana White to actually make a success of it. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Oasis One, American fighters are fighting twice a year and throwing away their careers. Yeah, exactly. Look at guys like Jamal Charlo. What's Jamal Charlo done recently? Who did Jamal Charlo even fight last? Brother, forgotten. He fought Korobov, Brandon Adams. He fought Korobov in December, back end of December. And he fought Brandon Adams in what, June, July? He's fought once this year, Jamal Charlo, a guy who's in his prime. So it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. Jamal Charlo should really be fighting 3 times a year, I'd say. But, like I say, these guys are content to fight once a year, picking up $1 million. It is what it is. That's just what it is. None of these guys seem to complain. None of these guys force the issue. Gary Russell Jr. is the only guy who really kind of comes out and says he wants these fights, like Leo and people like that. He wants those fights, but he can't get them. Yeah, Oasis one. That's the main issue with the PBC. They're just too inactive. These guys are too inactive. They put on some good shows now and again, like the Pacquiao Furman card. I really enjoyed it. The Uskatege versus Plant card I enjoyed. Even the Pascal Marcus Brown card was good. They've put on some good shows. Don't get it twisted, but a lot of it's few and far between, in my opinion. Humble Pie. Also, some of the smaller guys like Rungvisai, Estrada, Inoue. These guys are doing some good things as well. And the super welterweights. Sorry, no, super lightweight. Sorry, Taylor, Prograis, Maurice Hooker, Jose Ramirez. These guys are fighting. To be fair, these guys are fighting each other, so they get credit. The cruiserweights, looks like the light heavyweights now are going to start fighting. But yeah. Yo, Oasis one, Estrada, man, I'm telling you, he's going to body Kal Yafai, honestly. He's going to knock out Yafai. I think it'll be to the body. But apparently that fight's next. Juan Francisco Estrada versus Kal Yafai. That's what I've heard. Unification fight. I'd be happy with it. But I think Yafai is a weak champion in that weight class. I'd watch it overhand. Lara versus Spence. I'd watch it. I don't think he's got any hope in getting that fight. But I'd give it a watch. I would like to see Lara fight Brian Castano again, in all honesty. I think that's the fight that makes most sense for him. Yeah, Oasis one, I agree. I think Edwards in that rematch, he'll get smashed. And you're right, I don't think he'll take that rematch. I think he'll move up. Humble Pie, I can't name one American fighter fighting the best. Let's have a think. I guess you'd say Danny Jacobs. In like a 4 or 5 fight span, he fought Golovkin, Canelo, Selecki, Derevyanchenko, Quillin. I would say Jacobs. I think Jacobs fights guys. And Prograis as well, Lewis Hurley, yeah. You've got to give it to Prograis. Maurice Hooker as well. Yeah, there are guys out there in America who want to fight guys, but Yo, what's up, Boxing Squad? How you doing, man? I still make Lomachenko a favourite. My whole thing on that fight, I just think I mentioned it earlier actually, is the thing about Gervonta Davis that worries me in that fight is his footwork. I think he's got that. You know how guys like Broner, they'll drag that back leg and they're extremely flat-footed. He needs to set his feet to punch, and against a guy like Lomachenko, I just think he's going to struggle to land that bomb. He could catch Lomachenko. Don't get me wrong, but I just think Lomachenko is going to offset him with the angles, keep him off balance, and outpoint him more than likely. But it's a good fight. It's one of those fights where there's a danger for Lomachenko, no doubt about it. It's a good fight. It's going to be intriguing. You can't take your eyes off it. Hopefully it happens, you know? Hopefully it happens. Yo, that's a good point, German Persian. Sean Porter, he fights everybody. Devin Alexander, Kell Brook, Errol Spence, Danny Garcia, Furman. Yeah, the guy fights everybody. Omni-Surge Media, Lomachenko doesn't know how to use angles against other southpaws. That's a good point. But the thing is, like I say, the feet of Tank Davis, his feet are not as good as Luke Campbell's. That's my worry with Tank. It's his feet, man. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Anyway, lads, I'm going to wrap this one up. I'd love to go on, but I've got an early start tomorrow morning. So yeah, I've got to call it a night, unfortunately. But no, thank you guys for showing out. I really appreciate it. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the stream. I do plan on streaming a lot more. I know I've really kind of neglected it in recent weeks. But yeah, I do plan on streaming more. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Peace.